Hey, welcome. Unfortunately, one of the issues that we're having at the moment with having to deal with COVID is that we're all under a huge amount of personal and relationship stress. And whilst I have a lot of empathy for that, I'm in that as well. I also just think it's time that we remind each other about fair and respectful behaviour and how we interact with our educators and with our families and with our staff at Ignite Minds. We do have a code of conduct which is available on our website, which gives us some guidelines around how we should be treating each other. But I thought I would just read that to you today because I know some people, English is not their first language, and this is an opportunity just to hear from me because we have unfortunately had some quite serious and challenging issues, and when people resort to violence or aggression, it's then very difficult for your concerns to actually be heard and for us to resolve them because we then move into protection mode where we want to make sure that all the other families and all the other children are safe. So for those of you that just need to be reminded, if you're feeling so upset and so frustrated that you're feeling angry and aggressive, you need to give us a ring and we need to hear what's going on and we need to work through it in a calm and methodical way. If you get to that point where you're triggered into an angry or aggressive episode, then it's too late and it becomes much harder for us to unpack what happened, what went wrong, who said what, and to actually give your grievance the time that is needed. So, our code of conduct, obviously the first thing we need to do is to protect your confidentiality, the confidentiality of all of the parties, and to make sure that we don't disclose what's happened or who's involved to people other than those parties. When we're thinking about conflict of interest, we want to make sure that none of the parties, so the parent or the educator or Ignite Minds, can have financial gain or can get personal knowledge that may compromise the integrity of either party. And we're also wanting to make sure there's no relationship gain. And that's how we work through the conflict of interest. When we talk about fair and respectful behaviour, we're talking about communicating honestly and openly, having access to a grievance policy. So yes, ring Ignite Minds and we will work through it and make sure that we hear both sides of the conversation and the argument potentially. That we value each person's point of view and that we welcome diversity and we engage with all parties inclusively and respectfully. In relation to children, it's all of the above. Our first responsibility is to the children to provide a healthy, nurturing, responsive settings that is both safe and also challenging so that they can continue to learn. When we talk about rights, we need to have an appreciation of the special vulnerability of the child, and our practices will acknowledge the rights of each child and will include each child's right to a voice, to dignity and respect, to participation, to quality experiences, to be a child and to learn through play. We are committed to respecting and supporting all children as individuals with their own individual cultural, social and family backgrounds, the development of the whole child across all areas and the competence of each child. In relation to families, we acknowledge and value the uniqueness and diversity of all families, including cultural and religious beliefs and child rearing values. We acknowledge the rights of each family to confidentiality, privacy, information and participation. We assist families to exercise freedom of choice in accessing quality family daycare. We inform families of policies and procedures that relate to all aspects of their participation with the scheme, and we want to be accountable to families by adhering to the legislative requirements regulating children's services. And we want to maintain consciousness of the key relationships that exist in the work environment to ensure that our professional boundaries are maintained. In relation to colleagues, we recognise and respect the dignity and the rights of the individual, and we conduct ourselves in a professional manner. We practice open and effective communication. We are fair, consistent in decision making with a cooperative framework. We recognise and observe the boundaries that support professional relationships, and we are accountable in our work relationships and value each individual for their contribution. In relation to ourselves as a professional, we're committed to the principles of honesty, respect, trust, integrity that underpin all of our professional practices. A full copy of our Code of Conduct can be read on our website at www.igniteminds.com.au/code-conduct. It's important to remember we are all on the same team. We all care deeply about your children, and we all want to make sure that everybody has enough information to be able to answer the questions that they have. So please remember, when we deal with each other, let's be calm, let's be methodical, let's try and understand each other's point of view so that we can work through it as quickly as we can without all the other added stress of the interpersonal and relationship stress. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to continuing to serve you into the future. Bye for now.